My name is Rachael Pinkerton. It was kind of funny how this started out because I really didn't believe in ghosts or anything like that. I never touched a Ouija board. I never watched those shows on TV. My mother did. She was fascinated with it, but I never had anything to do with it. Until one day things started happening around the house. My mother and I, we were really interested in anything that had any kind of history. We used to go to museums and all the time and see the war memorials, so we went to a couple of cemeteries out here. We didn't think anything of it. We were just looking at the dates on the graves, thinking, how interesting to have such a tangible piece of history, to see things from the Civil War and such. That was so neat to us. Little did we know that we would end up bringing some things home with us. But before that started, it was just little things around the house, and you would walk into a room and you'd feel this heavy, heavy presence. It felt like you were just being crushed, and you would see things move, or things wouldn't be where you left them, but they were very easily dismissible. You would think your mind's just playing tricks on you, that it's not real, but eventually it got to the point where it was all the time. It never stopped, and I thought I was going crazy. I didn't believe in ghosts. I really thought I was going insane. So my mother, we finally decided to try and contact a paranormal group to see if there really was anything in our house, or if it was just me. So she called Hector, and he called me back that night, and it was such a relief to be able to talk to somebody and have them tell you that you're not insane, you're not crazy, these things do exist, they do happen to people. And he came out a few days later, and as soon as they walked in the house, they told me that they could feel it. You can't imagine the relief I felt knowing that there was something there, that I wasn't going crazy, and that it was real. So he talked to us a little bit that night and gave us some information from what they could tell, what we had in the house, and they did a sage cleansing. And that worked for about a day. The very next day I woke up, and it was amazing. It was quiet for the first time in months, and I hadn't realized what that felt like anymore. It was like this huge gaping void where all this activity used to be, and suddenly it was gone. It was like the house was empty. It was great. But that only lasted for about a day. So they came back out, and they were going to try a cleansing that was a little bit more intense this time. They had holy water, and they did the sage again, and they had me read out a prayer in every room, telling the spirits that I wanted them to leave. Well, they managed to pass one over at the very end. We kind of heard this popping noise or something. You could just feel it leave. But that didn't work for the rest of them. So things were getting pretty horrible by then. The activity was going every night. I was having to sleep with my mother because I couldn't sleep at night because they would not leave me alone. It was constant. There was always things moving around in my room. I walked into my room one day, and the chain hanging down from the ceiling fan is going around and around, and the ceiling fan wasn't even on. And as soon as I stepped in the room, I felt like something just punched me in the chest. I could feel it go right through. It was horrible. I didn't know what to do. And so Hector and his group came out again. And we were trying to think, what to do at that point, because it didn't really seem like anything was working. And I thought that it was my fault for not having enough faith in religion to be able to get rid of this. And it was a horrible feeling. And, we weren't really sure what to do at that point. Did you do anything else after that, or?
We did the 7-day candle.
Okay, I forgot about that.
And then we did the Indian ceremony.
Well, they tried another cleansing that was a 7-day candle cleansing, where we had to keep a candle going in every room. And we had a Bible in every room too, open to Psalms 23, and we'd go in and we'd read the prayer every night, and we'd try to keep the candles lit 24/7. This was to help try and get rid of all of the lesser ghosts, I don't know what else you'd like to call them, to help weed them out a little bit, because there was so many. It was ridiculous. And I went into, there's this specific room that the shapeshifter, or whatever you want to call it, stayed in all the time. It was our guest room. There's a crib in there. My sister and her kids stay there all the time. And I hate going in that room because it doesn't like me in there. I've had things thrown at me from the closet before. I had a notebook, and there was something else, and I hate going in there. It makes me feel sick to my stomach. But the candle was going out, and I just dreaded going in there because I knew something was going to happen. And I went in, and the candle was at the very far back of the room, and I turned around and I lit the match, and I lit the candle. All of a sudden I hear this loud bang, and I turn around and the door shut, and I left it wide open. And I went and I tried to open it, and it just wouldn't. It was rattling. It was like something was holding it on the other side, so I couldn't get out. I was terrified. It was just the worst feeling ever. And finally it opened, and I got out of there, and I never went back in that room again while we did those 7-day candles. I do believe that that helped get rid of a lot of the ghosts that were hanging around, but it wasn't helping for the 2 major ones that we were having problems with. Sorry, my voice is going.
Okay, you're doing good.
So, no, it's okay. So they were going to try one last big cleansing to see if they could help get rid of it. And it was an Indian ceremony, and they had, 4 different tribes?
3.
3. So they brought people that were affiliated with 3 different tribes in, and you're probably better at describing that than I am, because I'm still not totally sure what you guys did.
Yeah, it's fine. You can skip that part if you want.
Okay. And it was still very active. I was convinced that it just didn't work for a long time, and then finally things started to settle down a little bit. And, they weren't totally gone, but it was something that I could live with now. And that's something that I'm so grateful for, because it's kind of an uneasy truce at this point, but it's livable, and before it wasn't. It was horrible. So we're really grateful for everything that they did.
Hi, bro.